this is an update. We're just gonna get right into it. So that this video is not just me, you watching me driving. I am going to be including a repot of my Anthurium Regale that I got from itsShanaJaye.com. So somewhere here on the screen you'll be seeing that. I am trying the method of it's called a plant parfait. I saw this done on Unplant Parenthood, her YouTube channel. I follow her there. I wanted to try it because I am, as I stated before, experimenting with having plants in glass vases or vases. And so this will be my first like mix. I'm adding to the bottom leca, and I'm putting it in soil because it's been in sphagnum moss since I got it. So it's been in there maybe about 3 weeks, and it's been fine. It's been in the grow tent. I did get a grow tent. It's been living in there, and I think it's doing okay, but I haven't seen any movement from the plant. That could be because I'm literally looking at it every single day and I need to just let it be, but I do have to go in there and refill the humidifier, so I can't help but like look down. Now I have some plants up higher, like literally right under the light, that are doing well. One is my juvenile Anthurium Vera something. I'll put it on the screen, and it's giving me a new leaf since being in there. So I'm almost like, do I need more light at the bottom? I don't think it's a matter of stronger lights, because these lights are highly recommended in the plant community. I think that the plant is just so big, and I have to have the rack, the top of the rack so far up that it's but so close that the light can be, you know, toward the roots, if that makes sense. But you know, trial and error, experimenting. But yeah, so it'll be leca, and then it'll be my soil mix, which is well draining soil. So there will be a mix of sphagnum moss in there, and perlite, and worm castings, and charcoal, horticultural charcoal. Get it together. I think it's just aesthetically pleasing too, and I'll be watering it just like she says, but I think it'll do good. But I haven't decided yet if you guys are watching me do just one, or if I'm repotting with both, because I don't want to lose both, and I have two, so maybe I'm doing it with one, but you'll get the idea, right? So this update is kind of a turn. Oh my god, why is there a fly in my car? Get out. So here we go. We got the previous shop in terms of everything being approved. A lease was, you know, sent to us initially, and then we had some, you know, some edits. And where I left you guys off last was that the construction worker was going to see the place, you know, to get the punch list basically of what they would have to do, how long it would take, and the final costs. So while that was happening, the lease was back at the attorney and probably on the way back to us within the next day or so. Well, at that meeting, the contractor found that the previous tenant had whoever their contractor apply the faux wood floor on top of carpet that was glued to the concrete. We had already seen that there were gaps in the floor, just in a small space in the front, but we didn't know that it was water damage, because there was like some small slit of an opening in between like the door of a room in the back that he was able to see that. So he basically said it's gonna cost you this much more to have this flooring, not just the flooring pulled up, but the carpet to be literally scraped off of the concrete. So he then proceeded to ask us, well, how much is the leasing company giving you for the build out? And I'll just go ahead and tell y'all full disclosure, it was $4,000. Now, us being newbies at this, you know, we didn't know that the $4,000 that they offered was low based on the length of the lease and all of the things, right? And I remember my leasing agent saying, you know, when we went in for initial negotiations, shoot your shot, aim high, basically. And that's with anything, right? But how are we to know what aim high meant, right? How high do we need to aim? Obviously I didn't aim that high. Park that little point there. When I told him $4,000, he was like, what? Now, how much are they quoting you per square footage? And what is the triple N? And the triple N is basically taxes, like taxes and insurance or whatever for like the common area of wherever you're going to be, and just whatever building costs that they have, right? So everybody has that in addition to the dollar amount per square footage. So I gave him all of that information, and he was like, well, how long is the lease going to be? And he was like, they should have at least given you this amount of money. And that $4,000 was very low, especially since the space is not white boxed. So what white box means is that it's pretty much just open for you to come in and do whatever it is that you want to do on a clean slate, right? There are pretty much no walls, and if there are walls, it's not load-bearing walls, so you could knock it down because the previous tenant did it or whatever the case. So it's pretty much at its basic level as possible, right? And if it's not white box, then they are usually, per the contractor, they will give you money to get the space where you want it, because in the long run you are guaranteeing them X amount of dollars over X amount of time. And I mean, really just hearing that and communicating that back to my husband, we were like, oh, you know, we don't want to put the amount of money we allocated into this space for basic, pretty much repairs at this point, when we're not purchasing the space, we're leasing the space. So when the lease is over, we're not taking that space with us. You know what I mean? So we had to kill the deal. And just in between killing the deal and getting this information, we actually went back to the table and we asked the leasing company for more money. And really, we asked them for a lot more money. Again, going back to what I mentioned before, shooting our shot for them to try to, you know, for them to come down and meet us somewhere either in the middle or a little bit below the middle. But the response from what we had asked and what the lawyer had advised us to ask, they gave us all of these hard no's. In our defense, we didn't know to the extent of what needed to be done, and we had not signed a actual lease. So we weren't bound to anything until the lease was signed. So we still could have negotiated, and we were willing to because we liked the space. But they basically were like, no, we're not doing that. It was very unfortunate. I don't know if it was hard to do because we're not going to be taken advantage of. And it was a learning experience. So I'm at Home Depot right now, and I need to run in here and get a filter for the refrigerator because it needs to be replaced and the plants don't drink tap. So I'll be back. like a good find. Okay, so I guess since I'm at this light, let me show y'all what I got. I don't know how to pronounce this plant. It's like Manera's Calachui, or I don't know, Calantia, I don't know. I think it's in like the paddle plant family, like those other succulents where, you know, the foliage here is like really big and it looks like a paddle. You know, I think these are in that family as well. But I have one already and I couldn't find the right light for it. And as I stated in my previous vlog, plant vlog, you know, I figured out the sun situation in the sunroom. So now where it is, which is on its last limbs, but it's doing good and it's kind of growing out weirdly because it's hanging on by a thread, literally. I'll insert a picture here. So I think what I'm gonna do is combine this one with that one and make one, you know, really nice plant, and it'll have a little character since one will kind of just be going off on its own, which is cool. But I really dig this succulent. I'm not a real big succulent person, but I really dig this one. I like the edges, the trim of the red or pink or whatever on them. I really like them. And then how about that Hoya carnosa, variegated or variegata, whatever you want to call it. I hope this light don't change on me. Here she is. There were like 2 more. See the water on my hand? There were 2 more, but that one was the fullest, and that it is a beauty. So I got those 2. Well, anyway, what was I saying before? So yeah, so basically we had to kill the deal because of the reasons that I stated before. And now where we are, the application portion again, so the beginning, with 2 other locations. So here's the thing. The location that we were pretty much closing in on before was my second of my top 3 when we went out before, like a month or so ago. Finally, my favorite, our favorite, called us back literally yesterday. So today's Thursday, so Wednesday. I have been calling, I have been emailing like crazy, really, until we got to where we were going to be signing the lease with the other location. I just stopped because we just were trying to, I had never spoken to them, so it couldn't have been anything we did. But what we kind of figured was maybe the company decided to hold or pause on leasing because of COVID or whatever. You know, people have been breaking leases because the businesses haven't been doing good or whatever, and we just figured that was it. And then we also figured that maybe they already had like a LOI, letter of intent, and somebody else was going to move in. Like, we just were like trying to figure out what was happening or not happening. But she finally sent an email and called yesterday and was like, hey, what is the space going to be for? I responded. So she was like, okay, can you send your business plan? I sent that out. I took out the financials because I didn't know what they wanted for the rent. So, you know, you can't really fill that out. You just have to edit, right? So, you know, most of the day yesterday went by, and then she called and she said, hey, I forwarded your information to the landlord. We like the idea. Can you send us your financials? And so I was like, okay, good. So I just pulled it back up. She told me what they wanted for the, you know, for rent and all of the things. She actually said that the location is already white boxed. So basically we just go in and have all, you know, we can start really at where we need to start to get it open. And so I sent that information, and then she came back with a couple more questions. One was if it was my first shop, like did I already have a shop, or would this be a what they call a startup? And so I answered that. So and in that I also was like, hey, can we come by and see the space? I mean, right now we're just looking through the window. So she hadn't responded to that yet. Hopefully she'll respond to that today. But here's the other kind of so I have been out since Monday, since hubby and I came back from a work staycation, and you know, everything happened last week where we had to kill a deal. So since Monday, so Monday, Tuesday, yesterday, I have been going out on Monday and Tuesday looking at new locations, right? And I found another really perfect location, and it's a standalone building that's pretty much 80%, 90% windows, high visibility in the area that we wanted to be in, and all of the things. so we met with that leasing agent yesterday along with the contractor, because we have learned from our mistakes. And the contractor walked up and was literally like, this is way better than the first location that we were almost at leasing. I mean, it's just aesthetically right for the business, right? So there's that. So we're like, man, okay, our first love called back finally, and now our new love, and I can't say second love, I can't say second love, I have to say new love, because we like it just as much. We can't figure out which one to put first and second. The only pretty much aspect of it that, and why we would put the new love first, is because it would be better for the plants. It's light from all directions. I didn't even have to pull out my compass to see what facing windows it was, because it's all directions. And so we are like, oh my God. So the only other issue too though is that one would be ready sooner than the other. The first love would be ready when we sign lease, which potentially could be 30 days. And then the new love has work that needs to be done that the landlord has already said that they are willing to do, are gonna do. They were already gonna do it. And so the choice was either I could wait until they white box it, which would probably not be done until he said December, or they could create an agreement with our contractor to do the work, and it would be done sooner. So it really would be, they are guesstimating, I know that's not a word but I like to use it, about 6 weeks. So not that much longer than the other one, but definitely more work. It will cost more. Again, not that we have to pay it. Then we would come in after all of like the things that need to be done first are done. Then we would switch over to what we want aesthetically for the design. So listen, all this took me back. So first of all, I was a little, I mean, I was pretty disappointed that the first deal did not go through. I mean, all weekend when we were gone, you know, was this back and forth conversation, and thought like, can we just, maybe we'll just go ahead and pay for it, you know, because we have come this far. But it's one of those things. I talked to one of my friends, a couple of my friends, and my mom, and it was like, you know what, this is definitely a blessing in disguise, because had we signed that lease already and then the contractor went in after the fact, we would have not been in a bad place, but we would have had to adjust funds and would have really probably had less inventory to start to open. We would have had to, yeah, we would have had like less items. That's not what we wanted to do. So we looked at it from that standpoint. Additionally, the sermon at our church, it was either last week, no, it was the week before last, was about timing and how God answers prayers. And if I can remember correctly, he was giving like 3 points on why prayers are answered at different times, not in our time, but like you have immediate prayers that God will answer. You can ask for something, right, and he might just give it to you right just like that, like boom, the door is open, the miracle is done, whatever. Then you have some where he says no temporarily because you're not ready, right? Like you're at a place where you think you're ready for whatever it is that you're asking for, but you're not, and you have to go through just a little bit more growth, learning, whatever, before he says yes, possibly, right? And then the other one is, listen, you're asking me for this, but I have something better, right? You're asking me for, you know, this house, but I have a house and a guest house for you. You asking me to do something over here, but I think it would be better for you over here, because listen, I know more than you, right? And just be patient, you know? And that sermon keeps coming back in this situation to me, to my thoughts, because I'm just like, I think it's the third one, right? I think it's like the second and the third one, because we have learned so much in in the dealings of the first one. We've learned a lot in regards to negotiations and all of that, and bringing that into where we are now is a blessing. So I really feel like it's really the second and third point that he made. So yeah, it's a process, and I'm at the point now where I'm still excited, but my level of excitement in terms of like everything just moving so quickly, because the first deal, everything did move very quickly, very seamlessly. And you know, maybe like I said, maybe it was just you know, it was like a placeholder until we got to where we are now, right? I don't know. But I'm grateful, right? I am grateful for all of what we have experienced going through this, and I hope that I am relaying this right to you guys in a way that you understand, and giving you, like, sharing the journey, and that it'll help you if you have any desire for anything similar, or just business in general, or just, I don't know, but I just hope I'm being helpful. So I'm at my place now, but I wanted to just kind of, we just needed to have a conversation, because you don't know what you don't know, right? And learning helps us move forward, especially in our community. We've got to be willing to share, because I'm so grateful for those contractors sharing the information that they have shared with us, and for us to have gone out and really just dug deeper to get the information that we need. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and here, like I said, get our food, get back home so I can get these babies out here. And then, like, I got soil all over my shirt. And I hope you guys enjoyed the little mini repot, and let me know if you're gonna try that. And I will see y'all in the next vlog. Bye.